Good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome into Philly AM Sports with Al and not Mike today. As you all know, Mike is a PennDOT guy, and with the pending nor'easter about to strike upon us, he will not be available this morning. So it's me. It's me, Big Al. It's good to see you. And also we may have a special guest lurking his way into here. We'll hopefully see him. Good morning, Adam. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. Hopefully everybody's up watching the gold medal game for the men's Olympic hockey. Um, America up 1-0 right now in the first period. At the end of the first period, Matt Boldy, Minnesota Wild forward, man, splitting two of the best defenders in the world to get the get the puck control and put it in the net and get America up 1-0. So as a hockey fan and as a Flyers hockey fan, watching really good hockey has been few and far in between. So the Olympics have been a big boost, at least for the last for like last week or whatever. Good morning, Mitchie. How you doing, bud? Good morning, Al. 1-0 USA. Right? It's huge. It's exciting. It really is. Watching exciting hockey and having like skin in the game, I guess. Like I've watched some good hockey, but just not Philly hockey, unfortunately, for the most part. Especially when it comes to big important things like playoffs and in this case, gold, Olympics. And I've said a bunch of times I'm not a huge fan of the Olympics. The Olympics are not must-watch TV, but Olympic hockey is. I mean, it's kind of what an all-star game for the most part team game would look like in hockey right now, America versus Canada. But the Matt Boldy score was just it was pretty. It was pretty and disgusting at the same time. Disgusting how it went down, but just musical how it moved and it just splitting. Like I said, two of probably the top defenders in the NHL to gain control of the puck enough to get it past the goalie. The roof probably blew off that place. We MFers around here forgot what good hockey looked like. Yeah, Nooms, it's 100% true. Like, so if you guys are watching and they're about to drop the puck on the second period right now, I got it on my other screen here. I will keep you up to date. You'll keep me up to date, but we have a lot to talk about here this morning. And I'm upset that Mike isn't here, but maybe the other guy who will bump in at one point will probably combat me a little bit on some of the conversations. Of course, Phillies had their first spring training game. The Justin Crawford coming out, everybody's got the overreaction post on social media, which is funny. It's all funny stuff. That's okay with me. I like that kind of stuff. Like he hit that long double to lead off the game. It was probably about like 5 feet away from being a home run. Bopped off the center field wall, enough to give him a double. And then, of course, that bloop single. So he was 2 for 3 yesterday. And some flashing little other in center fields, like sliding grab. So that was good to see as well. Give Phillies fans something exciting to look for because that's going to be something we're going to talk about. A lot of the conversation has been through sports media. And, it's hard to disagree with some of it in the sense are the Phillies phoning it in and do the players, the fans, and everybody else around obviously notice it, and it's wanting something because I had a conversation with you guys on Friday night on my show on Friday night discussing the Reese Hoskins possibility from Devin Caney, which also spun into some sort of crazy off the wall argument between former WIP big man and current WIP radio host. So yeah, just the media has gotten so dramatic that now they had to bring the drama into between themselves. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I'll allow you guys to tell me if you want to really break into it. Adam, sorry, Nooms, I think I skipped over one of your things. Mitchell's hurting with these Sixers games. Please console him. Yeah, no. The Sixers have been rough, and you know what, man? It's par for the course. I really kept myself, and I'm wearing my Sixers hat today, which is kind of comical today. I just grabbed it to be honest with you because my hair is just an absolute untamable mess. So I had to put a hat on this morning, or you guys be looking at I'd be like 2 feet taller right now. Um, but these Sixers games, it's kind of par for the course right now. I try not to buy into the fool's gold that Embiid looked better. And that's some of the conversation we're going to talk about a little bit today. That Embiid, um, isn't taking things serious, and maybe it's because they didn't take him serious when he told them to spend more money. you know, and I'm not going to defend what he said was right or wrong, but I can also understand being a management guy not putting all my eggs in a basket this season just because you had some success without him. Season was over. We lost first spring training game. Yeah, that was another one that people's over. Because we lost. You don't take wins and losses from spring training games. It's like taking wins and losses from any preseason or exhibition games. They're learning. Starting pitching goes 2 innings, especially in the first set of games. But that's why I love. You don't look at the win loss. You look at the box score, how guys. And don't forget, you might be getting hits off of guys who'll never see the lick of time in the majors this year, outside of somebody has an injury and they need to step up. It's that you. Is that your pump take of the day, Adam? Yeah, right. Phillies looked good. Listen, there's a lot of good to take from them. I don't know if you guys saw the other social media stuff. What's his name? Bo Bichette, not looking great in it defensively. Guys, nobody looks like they do February 20, or hopefully they don't look as they do on February 22nd as they do, April 1st and May 1st and into the summertime. So I don't think to worry about Bo Bichette. Again, it kind of goes with my theme. For anybody who missed my show, I had a whole theme of us Philly sports fans and are we kind of like toxic relationship kind of couple? Are we the one being just not letting things go, moving on from Nick Castellanos? I'm tired of seeing the Nick Castellanos reshares of him flashing some leather at first base because he made one which should be a made first base maneuver. I just love when Nick Castellanos makes a typical defensive move that any person who is good at their job, at their position, is like an overreaction. That's hilarious to me. Good morning, Joe Howe. How are we doing? Crawford looked good yesterday. Yes, for those who are wondering, like I said, Crawford started the season off for the Phillies and himself with a long. First, he hit a long ball to right field. It's it was a kind of a bullet, but if he kept it in, a little bit to the left, it would have been a home run to lead off the season. And I'm okay with that. I don't need another home run hitter, especially a guy like him. If he can hit consistently, we talking about the 2-hole for that, man. That'd be interesting. We'll see. A long double to lead off the game to center field, banking off the center field wall. Give him a stand-up double. And he also had that bloop single in the fifth, kind of off the shortstop, playing deep in for the Blue Jays on that one. But like I said, some big defensive plays. 2 for 3 yesterday. During his interview, he jokingly said he needs to hit the gym a little bit just because he missed the home run by that much. So it's good to see that he's comfortable up there. He's having fun. I guess it's easy to have fun in your first game when he went 2 for 3 and he looked pretty solid. Let's see what happens when he has a little cold streak, as the pitching kind of ramps up for people. Day to day, Cassie will be a grind, but in totality, he was every bit as involved in this team's great moments compilation as everyone else. And that's true. And that's my thing is I had to preface this with the whole Nick Castellanos thing. And I kind of use the A.J. Brown thing, but I'm not comparing the two in the sense that I think Nick's a very good player, but I don't think he is, A.J. Brown is worth every cent that we pay him. You know what I mean? Like he's worth every cent that he gets paid. Like he earns. I don't think anybody's argued that AJ Brown is overpaid, right? But you could argue Nick Castellanos was overpaid, right? And I think most people, even Nooms, who obviously defending him in this situation, he agrees that he's part of it, and there's moments he carried the team. I think it was at 2023 when they were or 2024, I forget, when they were struggling, and he had a really bad beginning of the season, and then he turned it on, and everybody else kind of got cold. So there has been moments, some big moments in the playoffs where this team was struggling. Even last year, he did get one of the few hits that the Phillies piled up, I should say, jokingly, in the postseason. Of course, the blunder on the base pass, a whole different story. It's the personality. Again, not comparing him and AJ Brown. Both are diva-esque personalities. I think we can all agree that. And when you're winning and when you're doing consistently good, you're going to be you're allow the leverage or the slack to be a diva, and nobody's going to really fight. Like, hey, listen, he's that good. You kind of have to deal with it type situation. Nick Castellanos was cold at times, and his diva became, I think, just wearing on people, and it's not worth the $20 million headache that he became. And I think they figured that out early on, but it just slowly became compoundingly worse. And then, of course, what happened in Miami kind of just was the icing on the cake. Crawford looks good. Rob, yes, he does. Again, one game, February 21st, 2026. It's really hard to make any assumptions, but it's a really good, promising start to, like I said, and it's a conversation we're going to have today. I want your guys' opinion. Are the Phillies phoning it in for 2026? Are the Phillies organizationally phoning it in for 2026? And, is it frustrating the team? Is it frustrating us fans? Or do you feel like they're all in? And it brought the Reese Hoskins conversation to light a little bit. And it's which, like I said, has strewn a whole other drama-filled situation on social media. But we'll get into that in a moment. But like I said, Justin Crawford looked good in this first outing. And speaking, for those, as we know, we are here in the Delaware Valley, and New Jersey and those areas. We're a pending nor'eastern right now. As far as I know, as I looked before, about a half hour ago, before I started getting prepped for going over this with you, it was not precipitating yet. I heard it's according to what I saw last night, the morning into the early afternoon might be nothing to rain, and then the snow hits. And just be careful, everybody. I always tell you that. If you're over the age of 40, if you can get somebody else to do it, it's very stressful on the chest and the heart. Not just you're hurting your back or your shoulders. I'm talking cardiac issues, and it's very common for people when snow is heavy and coming down hard. I'm never going to let go of storing Crawford in a cold AAA storage last year, but I would also be lying if Ben Revere wasn't in the back of my head. Listen, it's funny, like, and if he has success, are you going to hear people talking about trading him like Don Brown, which I was one of those people, and I guess in hindsight I was correct. When guys have early success and they look really, really good early on, is it sustainable? Or is a guy who comes up and looks good, do we hold on to him too long? And the Phillies MO really was not to bring up guys who would right quickly. The Phillies would always keep guys, like you say, quote unquote, cold storage. Is it just the right amount of seasoning? It's like a good piece of barbecue meat. Over seasoning it or under seasoning it, it's never good either way. You have to season it just right. And we'll never know those answers because you can't go back in time and let them come up a year earlier and see if it makes a difference. And you can't let them sit down another 2 years and see if that makes a difference. But the point is if he can come up and him and Andrew Painter can take the right steps forward and be productive and bring that energy, the youth, to the team, Nooms, I think is what we could ask for right now, right? And again, I think this is why people, especially in the clubhouse, and listen, guys like Bryce Harper would be upset. They're not getting younger. Every year that passes is another year off of them. Okay. So crossing your fingers for 2026 to just move into 2027. And as we know, lockout could be looming. So that puts another year on there. So that's a whole different ball of wax. And just for those who need to know, the lineup is set for today already. Right now, this is your, I call it your big boy lineup right now for the most part. Trey Turner is leading off, and he'll be your shortstop today. Kyle Schwarber in DH will be in number 2. Bryce Harper will be be your 3-hole hitter at first base. Alec Boehm is our 4-hole hitter. I know it is a February 22nd lineup, but it just irks my soul. Brandon Marshall will be the 5-hole in left field. JT will be in the 6-hole. Of course, catching. Bryson Stott 7 with at second base. Right fielder Brian De La Cruz will be playing today, and center fielder Johan Rojas. Yeah. So that is your lineup today. 105 first pitch, and NBC Sports. So if kind of just not going anywhere today, if you want to get warmed up, a little spring training baseball goes a long way. Al, hey, Al, I thought it was weird seeing Don Mattingly in the Phillies bench yesterday. Could he be the Phil's next skip? I have to believe that he's there as a backup if it needs to get to that point. And that's another reason I think the Phillies could be seemingly feeling that this is a dialed in, year. So, Don Mattingly's here, so you're not believing in Tomper to do it. So you have your backup, your break in case of emergency, kind of our backup quarterback scenario in Philly. So could he? Sure. Is it a long term with Don Mattingly? Probably not. Unless he has some kind of Tomper type success where he's flailing, they let him go in May or June. They bring in Don Mattingly, and then they just go on a tear. You know what I mean? And how old is Don Mattingly now? I mean, that's a question to be had as all on its own. But could he? Sure. Wouldn't put it past him. Cassidy definitely overpaid. Yeah, listen, they overpaid him. That's why they got him. He didn't want to come here originally, and then I don't take that as a slight. Some people take that as fans, he didn't want to be in Philly. I don't understand why. I understand why. It's a hard market to break into because if you don't have success, you are going to be crucified. And some people don't have the wherewithal for that. Looks like Canada will be on the power play here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, no, Cassie was overpaid. This is why I said the Padres thing is a win-win it's a windfall for him and the Padres. Of course, the Padres are only paying him league minimum. We're on the hook for the other $19 million. That's a big reason why. You have a guy who he's on a contract year, and he's going to get paid. He's going to want to get paid, and it's going to be really hard for anybody to swallow a $20 million more a year contract on him. So most likely he wouldn't be getting that outside of him just going on some sort of tear for the season and showing that he's not a locker room problem, getting a fresh start. And of course, the market, the San Diego market is much more befitting of Nick Castellanos than the Philadelphia market. Let's just be honest. Now, it might be tougher for him to get his son out there because it's all the way across the country because they live in Florida, close to Miami, and he's going to be in San Diego. So I don't know how much they're going to be having Liam in the background as we did. And, part of that was a bit of the issues that, according to the article that was written. But, gives Cassie a chance to revamp him from a baseball player as well as a personality way and show that, he isn't what it was painted him to be. The big problem for homeowners over the next 3 weeks, hydrostatic water pressure from underground. It gets too warm, and after all the snow, luckily I have a sump pump escape box. Yeah, no, that's gonna be a big problem if you don't, if you're below level and all that stuff. Trust me, I had that in my house when we had so much rain. I heard my sump pump going off, and I run into my basement, like, nothing coming up, but there's so much water, dinging into the ground, and then all of it raining or melting at the same time. Because we had this a few years ago when we had good amount of snow after each other, piling on up on top of each other, and then we had like a 50-degree day of rain. Like, so we had warm rain coming down, and between all the rain pouring down and the snow melting at the same time, the water seeped into the ground, but it had to go somewhere. So unfortunately, it goes to the lowest point, and your sump pump was it. So hey, I was glad it was doing its job. But yeah, no, it's something that people don't have to worry about. Noom's absolutely correct. March '93 wrecked my parents' finished basement. Yep, I remember that. Actually, that's why my parents got new drywall instead of the old paneling, because of '93. Not covered by insurance without a rider. Yep. So, it's 5-on-3 right now for the next 10 seconds. Canada's 5-on-3, so we got USA has to, we got a guy without a stick on top of it all for the next 2 seconds. Keep the puck away from the net as they get somebody coming from the bench, get some help right now. So, if America can escape this power play, that would be amazing. Another 15 seconds on that one. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Adam, you think Don Mattingly will have a big impact on helping Topper make better decisions with the bullpen and the lineup? I sure hope so. I just don't know. Is Don Mattingly has the clout? Sure. Is that what he's here for? Sure. Is that, is that something that Dombrowski could have talked to him about? Like, listen, Tom, you're doing a lot of good stuff, but we got to go back a little old school lineup. Well, today's lineup doesn't make me feel like Don Mattingly's having any say on any of this stuff. So, it looks a lot like last year. Kyle Schwarber at number 2, Alec Boehm at number 4. Again, spring training, I'm not freaking out yet, and they're going to run as many lineups as possible. But I sure hope to God, I just pray to God that if you want to make me feel anything about excitement for this team right now, have the young guys do well, but get these lineups get Schwarber in the goddamn 4-hole, for the love of God, man. Thank God I don't have to worry about that with no flooding in my house. Oh, well, yes, Rob. I mean, hopefully nobody has to worry about that. It is a pain in the ass when you have to. Trust me, been there, done that. Actually, it was a funny story. I almost bought a house years and years and years ago, like way before my last house. And there's a redone recently, real nice, in the Morton area of Delaware County, for those who are familiar. It was I was so young, me and my buddy were going to buy the house together and, live in it for a little bit and then flip it, make a little money on it when we were young, because we had the money to put into it and we wanted to do that. So we liked this house. We really liked it. So we brought my buddy's dad over. He was a master plumber. My father over to look at the, financials and all that stuff. And it was a rainy day, and my buddy's dad said, it's always a good day to check out your house on a rainy day. So we went upstairs, like, to make sure the roof wasn't leaking or anything. All right, all good, all good. We went down the basement. There was like 1.5 feet of water. And it wasn't even like that rainy of a day. It was a rainy day. It was steady rain. It wasn't like anything like, monsoon-like. And, yep, of course, put the kibosh on that house for us right then and there. But, so, I mean, Phillies baseball today, watch, see, remember, take it grain of salt. Just see these young guys get better. Obviously, there's no really young guys. Brian De La Cruz on here. Let's see if Bryson Stott has any, I don't know, resurgence. He's kind of ended the season with a little bit improvement in offensively, and maybe he's just a good 7, 8, 9 hole hitter. I would hope to see, I know we're missing some guys who'll probably be starting, would push some of this down. But like I said, that's my feelings. Now, as I said early on, there was a Rhys Hoskins report from Devin Caney later in the week, earlier a few days ago, that Bryce Harper had been advocating for more right-handed power, and someone could who could give the Phillies an emotional edge / swagger. I'm told Harper suggested Dave Dombrowski look into reunion with Rhys Hoskins, who remains a free agent. I'm told Hoskins is game to come back and finish the job with the Phillies. Dombrowski kicked the tires on a potential reunion before ultimately deciding Hoskins not a fit, according to sources. So, I mean, I agree with Dombrowski on that one. He hasn't done anything to really make me go, "Ooh, yeah." Well, I don't know why we wouldn't. He's not coming back. He had really didn't have a great. He had a 2 months injury last year. He didn't have a great time with the Brewers. There is no fit for him positionally. I think it's nostalgia and just trying to see change for the sake of change. But we might have somebody might fight back on me in here because, like I said, I know he was up early. The coffin was creaking because Olympic gold hockey started at 8:10 a.m. this morning. And here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. What's going on?
What's going on, Al? How you doing this morning?
Just waiting for the snow, my friend. Waiting for the snow.
It's snowing in Italy. Let's go.
Yep. Right now, for those who are watching along at home, a little less than 7 minutes left in the second period. USA is up 1-0 still on a Matt Boldy just disgusting
highlight reel does not give it justice.
I mean, like, it's not just like, ooh, I got to score a goal in a gold medal game, but like that's probably a career kind of goal right there for him.
Yeah, like, filthy.
That's
I mean,
something.
Filthy.
If I'm him, I have monitors all over my house, just playing it on a loop for the rest of my life, because then I will never have a bad day again. Type goals, yeah. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, goal slipped in past the goalie. Like, he had to split 2 defenders, get tied up, regain some balance, and be able to snap it past the goalie all by himself. It was a one-man wrecking crew type goal, and it was just, it's a sizzle reel. I mean, that's if you're building, if he's on a contract year, that is a kind of goal that will get you a couple extra zeros.
I mean, lifting the puck and then batting it midair while splitting 2 defenders in order to position the puck so you can go forehand to backhand and slide it under Bennington's far side. I don't. So, Al, and that highlights my biggest takeaway from these Olympic Games, both on the men's and women's side when it comes to hockey. It's been too long, far too long that I've had to watch a team that I'm invested in play at this level. Mm-hmm. It puts things into such terrible context when it comes to the Flyers.
It's literally when I started off the show with Matt, I said, it's nice to be on a rooting end of a team that looks like they can play real hockey again. God. It's been a very long time. I mean, I feel like 2010 was the last time I just felt so good about a team winning everything. That was the last time, I think. I mean, did you not feel like the team of destiny in 2010 being down 0-3 to the Bruins, and then being down in that 7th game 0-3 and winning it? You're like, all right, this team needs to win. They want the Flyers to win this game. The hockey gods are smiling upon us, and then they said,
every time the puck is passed, there's somebody there. Every time a lane needs to be filled, there's somebody there. Every time someone needs to make a play to chip it out or just anytime when a save is needed, it's there. I've forgotten how fluid hockey can be. It's not clunky. It's not slow in developing. It's terrible context because we are light years away from what I'm watching and what we've been watching in Italy over the last 10 days. And awesome game today. I don't know if you guys are watching it. If you're not, you're missing theater. You're missing history. Win, lose, or draw is a great game.
Liking of hockey at all, even a casual hockey fan, you will, or casual sports fan, you will enjoy this game. And you know what? The Olympic break being right now during what would be considered the All-Star break is great because Team Canada, Team USA is pretty much what an All-Star game would look like at this point.
Point. Like,
but playing for real hockey, like
real stakes.
All-Star games could be like, fluff. for lack of better words.
Well, we got one good thing happening for the USA. Travis Sanheim plays defense for Team Canada. So come on, let's go. Let's go.
Let's
go.
And Sid, not so much the kid, is out due to his injury. So
yeah,
for all you fans out there who don't like Sidney Crosby, Nooms is saying good morning to you as well. And I don't know if he's talking about, is that a Team USA hockey jersey you got on?
It is. It's Team USA hockey jersey from back, I think, in the 2010 Olympic time frame.
Yeah, no, that's a throwback. Good morning from Rob. As you were jumping on, I don't know if you're listening, but we were talking a little bit about. I brought it up during my show on Friday because I thought it was asinine. But the Reese Hoskins report from Devin Caney, and that possibly Harper was asking for him because he wanted a right-handed bat with possible pop and some swagger or energy or whatever you want to call it in the locker room. I have just poo-pooed the crap out of it, and it's nothing against Mr. Hoskins at all. Thank you for your service and your time. But he did not leave the Milwaukee Brewers with like these amazing numbers or even average good numbers. Nobody's picking him up at this point. I don't think it's because he's asking for too much. And according to this report, he'd be on board. I think he'd be on board for employment at this point. What are your thoughts, Matty B?
Oh, well, let's look at the first impediment here. Where the hell's he playing? I mean, where are you putting him?
I heard people even say third base.
What? Huh?
I said
because he was so good at first.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, defensively, no matter what, he is a problem. But I said Alec Boehm is a better third base defender by far.
I'm a better third base defender.
Yeah. And he's probably less streaky of a hitter. I mean, if you ever noticed, like when Alec Boehm goes on a cold streak, or Nick Castellanos did, or anybody on this team won a cold streak, what was the dividing line? Are you as cold streaky as Reese Hoskins was? Like, he was the Mendoza line of cold streaks. So I don't understand how, and I was kind of going on Twitter back and forth with people. I know you saw some of it, and I just asked, why are we so excited in this nostalgia of bringing back Reese Hoskins? And I just, people try going back. Listen, I like having, and by the way, I have no problem you arguing with me on social media. I actually like when people argue with me, but in a good way. Like, just, you don't have to call, like, here's my thing is, you don't have to call people clowns because you don't agree with them. But I mean, unless they're being complete clowns. But my point is, like, but I always tend to turn it around on people in a good way. But I was having a good back and forth with a few different people on this conversation. Of course, they were one of the people who said third base, and I'm like, Alec Boehm is a much better third baseman offensively and defensively, and you want to pull him out to make room for Reese Hoskins, who has not been either one of those two things in a very long time. Remember, it's the same people who, in my eyes, were asking him to get out of town because they were over him, who wanted him back. Like, that, to me, was a little crazy. And, of course, this report from Devin Caney turned into a whole other snowball of drama between her and Howard Eskin, and just it's the media getting their own drama into it has been just annoying, to be honest with you. Just outright
annoying. And I don't know, where does she pull the source from? Is she just sitting at her house saying, you know what, things are dying down drama wise, let me just sort of stoke it up? I don't really understand where the basis would come from. And as you mentioned, don't we have about 6 other Reese Hoskins already playing on this baseball team right now? Do we need another one?
Spray guy. That's what that was my other thing. We need a guy with right-handed pop, but not pop it out a home run or nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
No,
more than home run.
No, and he's 3 years removed from being here, and Milwaukee didn't offer him another contract. So, I don't get it either. I don't understand the nostalgia value about Reese Hoskins. Is it because he, the way he went out, they want to give him an opportunity?
His wife bought his beers during the playoffs at one time.
Is that the reason?
Maybe that's the key there. Listen, and I'm not defending Devin Caney in any which way, but I feel like all reporters outside of it, according to sources, when was the last time like you really saw somebody with anything of real importance or something we didn't already know, not actually tag a source in it or mention a source in it? Oh, Dave Dombrowski said he's not going to re-sign Reese Hoskins, according to Dave Dombrowski, and he had an interview, and we all heard it. That's my point. Is like I'm not defending her, but that's everybody.
Yeah,
That's everybody, and of course, Howard's blowback on it was also asinine because I've heard him say the same thing numerous times, according to sources, but not king on sources, but they all do it. It's not just him; they all do it. I couldn't tell you the last time that there was a real big piece of information that somebody put out and they actually tagged their source in it or said their source's name in it and they could back it up. You know what I mean? Like even like take the Nick Cassiano situation. When they wrote that article, he wrote that the handwritten note that he took pictures of and put on Instagram, which I thought was hilarious. Like that's Nick Castellanos in a nutshell. Like it's like you want your $100, that's fine. You're getting it in pennies.
yeah.
You know, like that's kind of like how that was to me. Like,
Good point.
you're gonna get your money I owe you, but it's you're getting it all in pennies. But Rob doesn't believe Hoskins has come back, and neither do I guess me or Matt. Reese Hoskins has no lateral twitch to play third base. He has no lateral twitch to play any major league defense.
Yeah.
Like, and unfortunately, when you signed Kyle Schwarber, and this was my two, I had a list of reasons to not sign Kyle Schwarber. And it was pretty close on why to and not to resign. But one of my big things was clogging up that DH. So you can't give Bryce Harper a rest as much as you would want to. You can't give JT a rest and let him still hit as much as you would want to. So our DH spot is literally clogged up for the next 5 years. So a guy like him would not. There's another reason they wouldn't fit.
Yeah, no, it's I get it, the right hand power bat situation, or I'm not even going to say power bat, the right hand bat situation, competent right hand bat situation. We're a little thin there, but again, we harp. Oh, Jesus, 1-1.
I'll see right behind you. So this just happened.
Yeah. All right.
We're gonna go minute 44 seconds left in the second. Canada just tied the game up, and the Go Canada is ensuing through the arena right now in Italy.
Yeah, one goal. It's not going to. I mean, it's going to take more than one. I firmly. This is anyway. So yeah, I don't get the. I get the want for another bat on the right hand side, but
I think it's. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that this Phillies team needs another bat, another right-handed pop. I think they know that. I think Dombrowski knows that. I think Tomper knows that. I think as well as the team. So it like taking Devin Caney's report on the nose, if it's all 100% true, that I could see it listen, to come up with a quick idea makes sense. He's available, he'd be inexpensive, but other than that, there makes no sense to bring Reese Hoskins back. He's a good guy in the locker room. Like he would be the anti-Nick Castellanos in this sense. Like he wouldn't be full of himself and a diva-esque type person. And does that, if this report is 100% true, Matty B, does that show more credence that this team was a little over Nick Castellanos from a player standpoint? If you want to bring a guy in like him?
Yeah, well, I don't need that report to tell me that. We talked about this, I think, a little bit last week, or I don't know. I talked to you at some point, and just the lukewarm, like, yeah, hey, didn't work out. He's gonna go off to San Diego. We wish him all the
video on my last, not this Friday, Friday before. And he's just like, well, yeah, he was part of the important parts here, and he'll be missed.
Yeah.
And,
good luck.
He sounded like somebody ordering at a diner. It wasn't. There was no excitement in his voice or disappointment. Yeah. No emotion whatsoever.
But no, I don't need. I don't need the Reese Hoskins stuff to tell me that. Now, what I do find it interesting is that, it's the way it's sourced is that Bryce Harper is apparently the spearhead around trying to bring back Reese Hoskins, or in some way he's the vocal point or whatever. He started it, or he's allegedly clamoring to management. That's the most interesting part of this story that I'm going to take from, because obviously the relationship between Bryce Harper and Dave Dombrowski is somewhat on rocky ground. And, now does he still feel entitled enough? Does he feel like maybe Dombrowski owes him one? Hey, man, not for nothing, but elite. Give me my damn player. So I don't know. That's the more important
thing. Was it another thing where the source took it out of context?
Yeah.
Was Schwarber going, or not Schwarber, Harbor going, Dave, we need some right-handed pop here. Like, I don't care if you to bring Reese Hoskins back, God damn it, do something. Like was it kind of like in jest too? A little bit? God only knows. Like, like he goes, whatever we have to do, I don't care, make it happen. But that could also have been taken out of context, and that's the problem. Per source, per the guy who mops up the floor at the night overheard a conversation between Dombrowski and Harper. I mean,
yeah.
But whatever. And it's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen. And if it does happen, I think that's a telltale sign that this team is cooked for 2026. Like, they feel that there's no chance, because that's like, that's a Pittsburgh Pirates, Miami Marlins, Colorado Rockies type move. Bring back a guy that you had some minor success with in the past, a little nostalgia, make the fans happy, put a couple butts in the seats for a couple weeks, and that's it.
Now, if Hoskins is still looming out there around the trade deadline, and you can get him for the league minimum, and you need something, maybe you look at that. But to build a nucleus, yeah.
Say Garcia gets injured, and you need to move Bryce out to right field and bring him in the first base. It's a possibility, and things are getting chippy between USA and Canada right now. For those who are watching, as we go into the third, maybe final period of the gold medal, so we'll see how that plays out. So stick with us. We'll be with you until the to the end of the show. So I'm sure that hockey game will not be over by then. But
we had a chance there at the end of the period. Somebody hit right off the inside of the crossbar. Had Bennington leaning, and it went up and just climbed off that crossbar.
Yeah, I like watching. Like, I always wondered. Like, no, I guess Canada and USA. That's not much of a language barrier, but like when they're playing Slovakia or they're playing, whatever these other teams, do the refs have to be bilingual? Because like what about they're like giving a guy a penalty and explaining to him why he can't understand them, or do they have to wait till the translator comes in the penalty box and talks to them?
I that's a good point. I think majority of them, you have to kind of know the primary language. But I'll give you a story as an official. I've officiated teams from Canada, from the Quebec area, who speak French, but they can also speak English, but they won't speak. They'll speak French on the bench to each other, and the team will speak French back and forth because they want to talk smack, and they want to go back and forth with ideas, because I can't understand what the hell they're saying.
I go back to the classic Seinfeld episode with they bring George's dad. Lane brings George's dad to the nail salon.
With the Korean,
Korean's nail salon. Yeah, it's the same idea.
It is, but I think they need to understand what the primary language of whoever's on there. But yeah, I've never actually run into a situation like, as I said, you'll get a lot of guys fainting, what, and then they'll start having a conversation with each other in English. I mean, come on, man, you know what I'm saying, all right? So it's all a big game, but no, great game. Second period intermission, 1-1. Strap on for the final 20 minutes of this one.
No, it's gonna be fun. Like, listen, guys, that's what I'm saying. And Matt said, like, we have stake in a good hockey game with good hockey players, where it's gonna come down to exciting. You don't feel like you're gonna get overwhelmed at one point, and it's gonna be a bare knuckle fight the whole way through for the next period at least.
And then when it's over, we're back to the Flyers. We're back to beer league.
So real quick, because I didn't get your chance to discuss this before we move on to more conversation. Justin Crawford, 104 mile per hour double off the center field wall. Almost had a home run before that, just a little off. Also had a bloop single off the bouncing off the shortstop at the making it 2 for 3 on it yesterday. Plus a little defensive leather thrown around. I know it's February 21st, and I'm not getting overly excited, but I guess if you want to take any promising notes, what are your feels on Justin Crawford so far?
I mean, let's keep the Scott Kingery contracts away from him for now. Yeah. But I don't
just yet.
Yeah, no. But listen, in a game yesterday where I don't know what expectations are. Obviously, with the way the WBC sort of stacks up, you're going to see a lot more of your kind of set players early on in this spring training than you probably normally would. But
today would be one of those days.
Yeah. So no, I and they had him leading off. That was the biggest takeaway I got from Justin Crawford yesterday was they let him off. And I get it, it's spring training, but still you're going to put him out there as your leadoff guy. And that shows a lot of confidence, and it shows maybe them tipping their hand of what they want him to be. And I think Justin Crawford does grade out eventually to be a leadoff guy. I don't have him earmarked for 9 for his entire career, but it's hard not to take anything positive away from what he did out there. But I mean, I just want to see. Again, I don't care if he hits 104-mile-an-hour double off the wall. I'd rather see him leg out a sacrifice bunt or move a runner over at this point.
He tried to bunt on the first pitch.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
first pitch. So listen, I'm glad he's willing to do that. I'm glad he's willing. We need a guy who says, "It's get me on base. I don't care how it is. I will scrape. I will plead. I will fight. I will get on base and get me there." And again, I know it's early, but even when he got on that double and you saw the pitcher kind of getting a little frazzled with him behind him already because he was so afraid of, letting up a run early on. And he's a young player. He was a young pitcher for the Blue Jays too. He was their up and coming guy from one of the guys that helped lead him to their success last year. Nooms is saying, dude already had 1.2 years of AAA service time, so he better look decent in spring training. I know. But listen, we need to find some victories where we can, because here's the lineup for today, man. Have you seen the lineup today?
I have not.
All right. I went over it earlier, but I need you to just, again, I know it's February 22nd.
Yes.
But is it just more of the same thing? Because in leadoff, you have Trey Turner. At number 2, you have Kyle Schwarber. At number 3, you have Bryce Harper. At number 4, guess who's your number 4 hitter?
Alec Bohm.
Alec Bohm. Yes. Brandon Marsh, 5. Remuto, 6. Stott, De La Cruz, Rojas. That is your
it's opening day. It's opening day already. I mean, it's March 26th already.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like that. Like, come on, because one of the guys, I think it was Adam, who asked me in the chat a little earlier, do you think that Don Mattingly will help him kind of do a more traditional baseball lineups and gut feelings? And I said, obviously, so far, no.
I listen. That's Rob. That's a Rob Thompson lineup up and down. I've over the weeks we've been talking about on my show. I don't want to hear any more left and right nonsense, lefty versus righty, left right throughout the lineup. I don't care about that anymore. I want people that are supposed to bat fourth. Kyle Schwarber is a freaking cleanup hitter, and that's what he needs to be. Alec Bohm is a 7-hole hitter. That's where he needs to be. JT's probably a 5. I don't know who the 4 is, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, right. It's Schwarber, but JT's a 5. You can put Garcia as your 6. I don't know why this is so hard for Rob Thompson to figure out. I mean, we've all figured it out. Actually, I would like to see Bohm bat in second, to be honest with you, because he's a contact hitter, but because we don't have an actual number 2.
I wouldn't hate it, especially now, because if you do have Kyle Schwarber leading off, and then Bohm at number 2, you have 2 guys who have bricks for feet running on the base path. But if you're going to have Turner and Harper behind him, I'm okay with it then. Yeah, fine. If you want to put him at number 2, maybe that would suit him a little better. And just tell him to stop trying to hit it over the wall, because that's what you're telling Alec Bohm in the 4-hole. Hey, we trust your power. I mean, and then that's the problem with Alec Bohm. He's not a power hitter. Even if he was, I don't want to. He is the best, runners on scoring position, hit batting average, and all that. Then why, if you're going to get Trey Turner on base, as we know he can, why not have him get him across the plate? I don't know. Joe Howe has a good question for you. Matty B, what is the overtime rules if it goes to it in the hockey game for Olympic hockey?
3v3 sudden death.
Does it? There's no shootout, right?
No, 3v3 until they'll no shootout for gold. They'll run 3v3 until the winner is crowned.
Is it a period? Do they have period times as well?
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
So it'll be 27 periods. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's a problem. We can't get to 3v3 against Canada. We gotta win this in regulation. I don't feel good about having to skate against McDavid, Celebrini, and company 3v3 in overtime. I don't feel comfortable with that. We got to win this thing in regulation. So I need to see the U.S. They were back on their heels a little bit in that period. You got to keep attacking.
They were defending the game right there. They were defending the game. Like,
yeah, you can't do that. You got to keep playing. You got to keep trying to win, and you can't let you cannot let the play come to you when you're dealing with that Canadian roster, because they're just too damn good. And so, yeah, I need to see them a little bit more on the attack. But yeah, we cannot. I stress, cannot get to overtime against Canada. We need to win it regulation.
Noom saying we need someone to be the distraction on the base pass. Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, to be honest with you, in a perfect world, if Crawford is a consistent contact hitter, I wouldn't mind seeing him too in that position. Now, that'd be a big ask for a young guy like that, but in a perfect, because then you have two guys on the base path who can speed through things. Bryce, Schwarber, and then depending on who's batting really good for 5, like if Garcia can have a little bit of a resurgence, that would be really good to see. I would love to see Garcia at 5, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If he can have some sort of, I'm not saying a complete resurgence, but better than he's won the last few years, but close to his, what he was in the past. And then you can have Romuto, Marsh, Stott, whoever at that point. That would be if everything worked out in fantasy baseball land for Big Al.
And and that's where the frustrating part of I know a lot of fans are heading into the season is we're still the same team offensively than we were last year. You take Castellanos out, you put Garcia in, it's basically the same offensive player. And then we still have the same issues. After 1, 2, 3, the lineup kind of goes into a big question mark, and you don't really know what you're going to get and who's going to give it to you. But I mean, I've said this heading into the season, I'm not necessarily down on the offseason. They actually did what I wanted them to do, was infuse some youth into this lineup. You got, say, Crawford. I know the Painter thing, but you're not going to see him in a Phillies uniform probably until about midsummer at the soonest. But Kemp, Crawford, I do like seeing those guys get in more of an active role in this offense, and just to provide some sort of switch up to the way that pitchers are going to have to approach this lineup. And because right now it's the same, and I don't know how much more blueprint we can throw down out there to all these major league teams about how to beat us, especially in October. But again, I'm not as frustrated as a lot of people are about the way the offseason played out. I wanted to see the infusion of some of this young talent get an opportunity to play. And with that comes a certain level of patience that you have to sort of go through. But, when it comes to lineup construction, we can, Topper is still the wild card, and same with the bullpen, right? I mean, Duran's going to be the closer, and that's great. But does everybody else have roles, or is it just another mismatch up till you get to Duran? And that don't work for me if that's the case, because I want roles for everybody out there. But so again, Topper's the big wild card in this, and that's why Don Mattingly's here, not to assist or help Topper,
100%,
but to take over for him when the thing blows up. So that's
like people have been saying about Sean Mannion. Is he the breaking case of glass? Future head coach of the Eagles when Nick Sirianni S's the bed finally. This is a little bit more of a probably closer breaking case of glass moment than probably that one is, but not too far off the beaten path. Adam, Maddie, and the rest of the free world are not happy to see Bohm in the 4-hole. Just let's just say that.
No, because again, it's like Bryson Stott. And Orion Kirkring. So Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm, and Orion Kirkring are the 3 players who I think are really good baseball players. But for some odd reason, this organization, this regime, this manager wants to continuously move them around the lineup, never give them any place to feel comfortable at, or move them around the pen, never give them a place to plant roots down. Bryson Stott is a bottom of the lineup guy, period. That's what he is. And it's not, that's not negative about him. That's where he's suited. He's not a leadoff guy. He's not a 5-hole guy. He's a 7, 8 guy. And that's okay. Alec Baum, same thing, 7-8 guy. Let these guys get comfortable to what God put them on the planet Earth to do and bat where they're supposed to bat. Kirkering needs to come out of the back end of the bullpen. Rather, if you don't want to hand it over to him as a closer until you feel comfortable, fine. But he should be your 8th inning guy. And at the very least, at 7th, he should never show up in a baseball game before the 7th inning. Ever. And the 7th inning is I'm real hesitant to put him in there. He's an 8th inning power pitcher, and let him unlock that. Let him get comfortable in that role. So maybe he gets more confidence in throwing some of those 4-seamers down and not relying on heavy, high heat. Listen, I'm telling you, and I've said it with Kirkering, he's a closer, probably not with this organization, but somewhere along the line, someone's going to teach him how to be a closer. And Stott and Bohm will probably go down in history as untapped talent. They'll go somewhere else. They'll find that niche in that lineup, and they'll be competent, serviceable baseball players, but not here because we're moving people around the lineup. Or, hey, Stott, you went 8 for 8 this week. Guess what? You're going to lead off today. No, leave him where he's at. I don't understand that.
That's a panic move. Like, that's like, I don't want to say I don't know what I'm doing, but like, we need to find something. So I'm just going to keep shuffling the deck and seeing what happens. You know what I mean? Like, if you keep drawing cards, you think you're going to get blackjack. No, you're going to bust most of the time. Like, and Nooms with the comment of the day: if lineup management was the bathroom Olympics, Topper would be peeing with a hard on and missing the can.
He's not wrong.
So, Matt, I do a segment on Friday nights. I didn't get to do this week because I was on a tirade and got the conversation going. Then I had a couple good calls from our boy Joe Hale and Ian and all that stuff. So I didn't get to do it. So I want to do it with you. I want to do it in a little different way. What I do is I bring up the trending topics on, sports media, especially in Philadelphia, and I want your opinions on them. I usually give my opinions, but since you're here with me today, I want your opinions on them. And we'll go through all 4 sports real quick because I know we're getting towards the end here, but let's talk about your favorite team, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, yeah.
And like I was telling everybody to not get – I mean, listen, we saw some – kind of like you were saying with the Phillies, like a little youth resurgence, which was good when Joel Embiid wasn't playing, PG wasn't playing much, and you're letting it be the Maxey show. And, there was definitely some holes in the game, don't get me wrong, that they could start to fill up, but gave you a little bit of a, before they traded Jared McCain and all that stuff. Okay, they're going with the youth movement. It's not the Joel Embiid show. Well, that changed. Joel Embiid came out right before the trade deadline and said, get off your wallets. You're already paying me hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's pay somebody else hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, the Sixers have been in a slump pre and post the All-Star break. And they had blowout games against the Pelicans. And Embiid is now being criticized. Shock and all.
For what?
His professionalism, reporting that he's being late for everything, and his physical condition, and the sky is blue. What is your thought on all of that?
Oh, man.
Matty B.
I know a lot of people heading into – I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know a damn thing anymore about the Sixers. The minute Ben Simmons passed up that layup in the playoffs, I checked the hell out, and I haven't checked back in since. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what's going on, but I'm obviously paying attention a little bit. But, it's an obvious move to punt for the future when they went ahead and just accumulated assets at the trade deadline instead of players. I'm not saying it's a bad situation, but it's funny that people went into the season with this attitude of, wow, I'm just going to take it game by game. I mean, this is a team that allegedly was a championship contender 2 years ago, and now we're making excuses for them. I'm going to take it day by day and game by game. Obviously, Joel Embiid is beyond his shelf life and well beyond his shelf life, and they're stuck with him. But I honestly believe this is a situation where they're punting on the season with these assets, and I think Moore is going to make it. I would not be surprised if both Embiid and George are not Sixers next year. I think he's going to try to do something this summer and completely pull. And completely try to pull both of them out of there and just stack up with young players. Now I know they're going to have to pick up a big
give Morey kind of like a cookie if he somehow pulls that off.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
I mean, yeah. Saying, like, if you can pull off those two contracts and get rid of them, got to give a guy a little credit somewhere. I mean, listen, in all the Morey annoyance, I mean, from a drafting standpoint, he's done a pretty decent job. You know, he brought in Maxey when people looked past him. He got Jerry McCain here and was able to get some good assets for him as well. It feels like they're leaning towards that by not going after somebody in the trade deadline to make a ton of money. They brought back Campaign, which from like across the seas. I don't even know where he was at the time. But if you're looking to really make your snowy night colder, you can watch the Sixers game. Minnesota, yeah, they're playing Minnesota tonight. But yeah, like and Nooms is saying down here, I don't see anyone restructuring their contracts to help the situation. Exactly. I'm not sitting there saying like, you know, if Joel Embiid could say, listen, let's restructure this, let's make it more team friendly so you guys can afford more space, because he's not, and he's not going to leave money on the table, which none of us would do that. I'm not going to blame him on that. But like you said, like I did take it. Like I watched some Sixers games this year. I'm not going to lie, you know, or anything like that. Did I watch them all? No. Was it must see TV for me? No. But I was watching when it wasn't Embiid in the game or PG in the game, because I want to see what this team could kind of look like into the future. And, you know, we saw that. And then, okay, Embiid came back and had a handful of games. And everybody's like, oh, maybe Embiid, you know, we don't have to worry about him getting injured. No, now you just got to worry him back to too many Shirley Temples.
You know, when this thing is all said and done with and Embiid's career is over, where is he? And just kind of it doesn't get any better. It doesn't. They don't get a championship out of any of this. It just sort of rides its current course. How is Joel Embiid looked back on as a Sixer? Is he considered an all-time Sixer?
I think so. But so was here's my thing is, and I'll tell you why. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is, you know, they just, you know, had a 25-year anniversary of the 2001 Sixers. At least they went to the, you know, to the dance.
Finals. Yeah.
You know, and didn't get you know, didn't get to the end of the dance the way we wanted it to be. But you know, but people tout that, and listen, Iverson is a generational talent. I don't think anybody's going to deny those facts. But also people, you know, revisionist history forget he was also a problem. He was also a problem. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, Hellebeck with the stick save of the century right there. Jesus Christ.
I thought the last goal that you know, right at the end of the second where it backed off the pipe was you know, the hockey gods intervening. But there's I think that one takes the cake on that one. But if you guys are watching, like, I mean, behind the back stick save, and somehow kept the puck from going in the net and going across his back. Like,
yeah,
either that's just pure dumb luck, or you're that damn good. I don't know which one it falls into, Matt. I would have to feel the luck, because the physics against it kind of would go against it a little bit.
Yeah,
but
that was wow. that was let's just, no Flyers goalie ever could do that. But that was wow. That was active stick. But no, like, do you see Embiid's number hanging in the rafters next to Iverson and Dr. J?
Yes, I do. And I'm not saying for the right reasons. I'm not saying for the right reasons, Matty B. I'm not saying for the right reasons at all. I'm just saying yes, because look at the NBA Hall of Fame. Look at the guys like that. The Sixers don't have plenty of space in the rafters. So yes, because you haven't had any real run since 2001. You haven't had a championship since I was about 5 or 6 months old, and I'm 43. So let that sink in, everybody.
I went to that parade.
So yeah, you need to fill the rafters with something. So yes, I can see that happening, Matty B. I really can. And listen, he should have been a generational talent with us. He has every ability to be. Unfortunately, with him, injuries played a gigantic problem in his situation, and some of his personality defects. You know, because he was so talented, because he was so loud, that he thought he could just. You know, I kind of equate this like when I train football players, when I get to the position where I'm at, like right at that high school level, you know, a lot of these big guys that I train in on the O-line were so big than the rest of the team in the lower levels that they really didn't have to work on technique. They didn't have to work on themselves, because they just always thought they were going to tower over people. And even I myself had to learn that at a young age, because I was the biggest man on the team for a while in grade school, and then high school, and I was one of the smallest guys on the line, and I had to really work on myself to get better. Now that was kind of what I think part of Joel's problem. Like, I'm just that big and that athletic, and it's just going to come to me, and we're going to walk our way to a couple championships, and I'll have plenty of gold. And you know, reality is starting to set in the situation. Uh, Nooms is saying people may put JoJo in the Billy Wagner category with more tenure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Like, just having
he's
a
a Hall
really
of
good
Famer.
player. Yeah, could he be up there with Bryce Harper esque if Harper never wins a championship type situation? I mean, at least again, Harper went to a dance, just never finished the dance.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be a little bit
Yeah,
step
but
lower.
Joel never got out of the second round.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's below that. So I don't know how you tier this, but because of his abilities, because of what they tell him, he will hang in the rafters because the Sixers will, because it's the wrong thing to do. But that's why it'll happen. Does that make sense? Good morning, Michael P.
Oh, nice save.
Yeah, you're about 3 seconds ahead of me.
Oh, man.
That is, I hope my son is watching this right now because he's very much into hockey, and this is amazing hockey right here. What is more impressive than movies robbery versus the Wild a few years back?
Well, no, because Hellerbeck didn't have to go all the way back across the crease, but it was hell of impressive in this at this level, at this type of game, to have that kind of a stick of yeah. Now it again,
he had to pop a shoulder, I think.
Yeah,
I think again shoulder to get to that one. This one,
I go back to the opening statement. To be this invested in a team that can play like this has been an amazing gift, and I don't want to see this end. I want to keep. Can we play another week of this? Because I don't want to go back to okay, Mitchkov got to get off the ice after a 3-second shift because he's tired. I don't want to go back to that, and to see from just all levels, all positions, Hellerbuck, and then he comes up huge on the stop there, denying Celebrini on the breakaway.
Denying of all people, Celebrini, by the way, like of all people.
So no, it's
all right. Here's a good point, and not to exactly what Nooms is saying to answer your question. Lindros and skating with his head down is a perfect example. Is Embiid the Lindros of the Sixers?
That's actually a pretty good comparison, actually. Yeah, never really got to see his potential come to fruition. You saw it kind of there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good comparison. So I guess the other point would be that the Sixers failed Joel Embiid by not putting a better team around.
Part of it's that. Yeah, part of it's that. I can't say they didn't try because, I mean, they knew he was not going to be ready for a couple of years. They kind of let him ride the bench. He got paid well to do so. They were stacking. They were just kept stocking first round picks. They did go get some top tier talent that just never played out. So is that on them on not getting them or not getting the right people and doing the right pick? So like, there's a little. Can't say they didn't try. They just failed miserably, I guess is a good way of putting it. In their trying and got had by guys like the Celtics and stuff. Instead of taking Jason Tatum with that first pick overall,
did this thing go down a whole nother road when they decided not to re-sign Jimmy Butler and stay with Ben Simmons?
I still think that Jimmy Butler would have been the turning point for the Sixers of possibly winning a championship with Joel Embiid under. I think there is like, you ever see the meme where the guy has there's 2 buttons to choose?
Yeah.
Trade Ben, trade Jimmy, or let Jimmy, and it's like he's sweating, and obviously they pressed the wrong button. I mean, hindsight's 2020. I mean, God knows it might have not made much of a difference at all. But I mean, yes, trading Ben when Ben was at his all-time high. Ben Simmons is almost like a Don Brown type situation. Had some success early on, and then just never could get right, and they just kept trying to. They just didn't get rid of him when they should have got rid of him. Like a little bit of a close comparison, not the exact comparison, but is Mitchkov that much out of shape that he hasn't been, or has it been exaggerated?
Listen, the head coach has talked about it publicly multiple times. By the way, Rick Tockett's on the bench for Team Canada, and John Tortorella's on the bench for Team USA. That's a little interesting subplot there, but he's been public about it. He talked about it recently at the Flyers Carnival that I can't trust him. I can't trust Michkov to stay on the ice for lengthy periods of time, and I got to pull him off. I'm not going to say it's that exaggerated. I mean, reports are that he didn't touch the ice from the minute he stepped off last April until he got to training camp. And again, knowing Michkov's past about, his problems in the KHL, being suspended for conduct detrimental to the team, I'm not going to sit here and put it past Michkov that that's what he did. So, to me, where there's smoke, there's fire there. And then that's a character issue that goes deeper than X's and O's. And, again, this is just part of the problems that the Flyers have when it comes to their system right now. And Mitch,
you already lost a guy who forced his way out.
Which, goddamn,
yeah, don't let's not
Gargoche's tearing it up out in Anaheim. Yeah. I mean, good God,
he's cutting our throats right now.
Jesus Christ. And we got Jamie Drysdale, who's played better, but come on, man. We got taken in that deal.
Well, we had to take what we could get, and that's
I know.
He held it. Listen, he held us at gunpoint, and he won. He got what he wanted. Top tier talent got what they wanted.
And I don't blame Cutter for that, honestly, because I know where this came from. He did not want to go back to college for that second year. He thought he was ready to come to the pros after his first year of college hockey. He wanted to come, and the Flyers held him back, and he got pissed. I don't blame him for being mad. I don't want to play. I want to play pro. That's why I was drafted at 5-6 overall. Come on, I got my 1 year in. Now, was there some promises made? Hey, you play 1 year and we'll pull you. And then the Flyers reneged. I don't know all that, but I can understand why he was mad about that whole thing. He feels the Flyers did him dirty, and
maybe they did. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they did. I think it's more than
a 30 for 30 for when he's retired of some sort.
I hope so. I want to
know. Yeah, one day I'll be sitting in the old folks home going, "Oh, so that's how it worked out."
I want to know.
In my rocking chair going, "Oh, yes, that makes sense now." Mikey P coming in here, but a lot, in my opinion, was on Bobby Clarke for not putting any players around him that could protect him instead of having to protect himself. I mean, Bobby Clarke and Schultz to protect him. I guess it's Lindros. We're back on that one a little bit on that.
As far as Lindros goes, when we look at the height of the Legion of Doom line, I mean, John LeClaire was a 50-goal scorer once he got paired up with Eric Lindros. Eric Desjardins, maybe one of the best, if not the best, defender in Flyers history. I mean, do we have any goons around? Not really. No, I get you. But Lindros's nemesis was one guy, Stevens out of the Devils. That was the only guy he had. Lindros is 6'8", 250 pounds. Fight for yourself, God damn it. I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about here?
Stevens was a thug. That's what he did, and he would maul them. But actually, his biggest enemy was Mr. Concussion. That didn't help him either.
No, but I mean, come on. Lindros wasn't 5'11", 140 pounds. He was a big dude.
But I think that's why he was probably fearful of fighting, because he took a bad hit to the face. Concussion number 27 comes into play. New saying, man, if hockey isn't his passion and it just means the end, that ain't good. It ain't good for anybody. It ain't good for him because dude.
Did he miss that shot, or was that a save?
I think it was a little bit of both. It was kind of hard to move so fast. Either came off the pole and he just missed it, or he kicked it out. It was really that it moved so fast, and the camera angle you lost the goalie quickly. But that's when they're going to slow down in the commercial. That I kind of want to see how it goes.
Connor Hellebuck keeping Team USA single-handedly in this game.
Whose decision was it to hold him back, Torts or Danny B? I would have to imagine it's Danny B in that situation.
Yeah, it was Danny B. That was all the management thing.
A good star I could have. I don't see Torts saying that. But then again, Torts he is definitely not. He doesn't like working with the youth as much. So I mean, but I think if Danny B said torch, you're putting him on the team, it's going to happen.
No, this was a move to save a year off that ELC and save a
Mm.
year of development to get the Flyers closer to where they could really exploit. I don't want to use the word exploit, but take advantage of Cutter Gautier's talent. It was a complete management move to save a contract year. That's all that was. If that's the case, pure and simple. So yeah, but which of course is sort of contrary to bringing Mitchkov over a year earlier than he was supposed to come, because of I don't know if it was to get him out of Russia.
Did that force his hand?
Possibly.
Did that force the hand of bringing him up early because they didn't have Cutter to work with?
Yeah,
in the Cutter situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, and that's again when we look at the rebuild of this hockey team, and obviously as this game winds down now, we're faced more and more with the prospect of dealing with the Flyers. The drafting has not been good.
Less than 9 minutes in the third right now for anybody who's watching at home.
And Connor Hellebuck is keeping this team in it.
Yeah, Canada's taking their chance. I'm telling you, the hockey gods
they're going to get him on a pen. Oh no, too many men. No, they didn't call it good. Did they? No, good.
It doesn't look like it.
Good. Yeah, the drafting hasn't been good. Jet Lichenko's looking more and more like a bust. Get it out!
I mean, it's a little early to call Lichenko a bust.
Yeah, he's a bust. At 13 overall, and he can't get above the CHL level, he's a bust. I don't care what you say, he's a bust. At this point in his career, at the 13th overall pick, he should be entrenched at least in the AHL. And then
let us pick. I remember doing that draft together.
I told you he was a second-round pick, and it was a reach at 13. Now Porter Martone's lighting it up at the NCAA level. We'll see where that goes, but he's also a winger. We have no centers. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
Rob saying Embiid is not going to be in the rafters. I'm not saying he shouldn't or should or shouldn't. I'm saying he will be there because the Sixers will put him there. They need something to hang their hats on. They had fighters like Dan McGillis, Luke Richardson, and other dudes that could fight. He wasn't during the Legion of Boom and all that stuff. I think they had guys around him. I think the Lindros had guys around him that they could have won with. It's not like they were dealing with it's not the 2001 Sixers where you had like Snow and all those guys are just shouldn't have been in there. It was an Allen Iverson and then drop off big time. I mean, I think they had some good teams around Lindros. I think Lindros couldn't get past the injury bug. And kind of fooled himself a little bit. Luchenko, and he was even kind of admitted it a little bit that, he wished things could have been a little different in his career. He could have handled things differently.
Yeah, I mean, I know Lindros played in a different era. He played in a much more physical era. And yes, we complained about the goaltending situation around Eric Lindros. There was never, but you know what? Stand in line. There's never been a situation in Flyers history where the goaltender's been constant. So, I get that. But obviously, you can talk about the goaltending. Was Hextall really the best answer for the Eric Lindros era? Then Brian Boucher, and then Gar Snow, and all the litany of goalies they ran through during that time.
On a win stuff, you mean? Guys who came, are we the kiss of death to goalies? Let's just call it what it's worth. Our goalies I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't care how much they're paying us.
I have a theory. And it's that night that Pelle Lindbergh tragically lost his life. Just before his Porsche kissed those steps at that school, he cursed the Flyers for putting him in this position at this particular moment in time. And I'm telling you, it's held up over the last 45 years. And it's
just how many times did we talk about guys who were we thought we were going to be good and maybe had a little success, and then they just didn't work out, so they moved on from them, and then they go and win championships somewhere else.
Bobrovsky. Even Anthony Stolarz is making a name for himself in Toronto these days.
We're talking about bringing Alex Lyons back. That's what we're talking about right now.
It's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. Yeah.
We thought he would be barely a 3 goalie.
Yeah. Or he's not even in the league anymore. But no, you're right. And I know that's why they're hesitant to kind of give up on Urson, but good God, man. Guy's got like an 8.57 save percentage, man.
I'm not hesitant.
No, neither am I.
Mikey P saying I said it many times, Flyers will not be relevant to 2030. I hope it's that early at this rate. In 96, we were a one-line team, but after that, I thought we did a decent job surrounding him, except in the crease.
Yeah.
Well, that's just, I mean, I think we should have a hockey show called Except in the Crease, where we just talk about Flyers history.
Of bad goalies?
Yeah, just talk about it. It'll be called, we'll just do a documentary called Except in the Crease. You know, like
I mean, that's not a bad idea, because that's where you can kind of sum up sort of the Flyers' problems. They've had times where they've had really competent, good offensive pieces, defensive pieces, and they just did not have it between the pipes. And
we could do like the meme, the Always Sunny meme, the Pepe Silva meme, where he has like the board with all the strings and everything about it. You got Pelle Lindbergh in the middle, and then it's like just how it all played out.
Can we just get one player from Team USA, just one player to come play for the Flyers? I don't care which one it is. I don't really care who.
He just took a stick to the face.
Yeah, and we got a power play coming up here, so that's good. Oh, and it's a double minor. It's a 4-minute power play. Oh!
So by the time this power play is over, that's 2 minutes 34 seconds left for at full strength, unless they commit a penalty.
They hit Bennett with a double minor.
That went right up in his chops, though. Do you see that in slow motion?
I did see that. This is it. This is it. It's go time.
Here we go. Panthers winning the cup with Bobrovsky and Stolars. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What? And back-to-back years, too, right? I mean, so.
And it burns a lot, growing up, like, especially in 83. So by the time, my sports fandom, I say like 10 to 12 years old. So you're looking at like 95 and above. Baseball, like Phillies had 93, but after that, it was cold. The Eagles really had not much success during most of the 90s, especially the mid to late 90s. The Sixers, I don't think I have to say much about the Sixers. So what did I have? I had hockey.
Yeah.
And I had the 90s Flyer-style hockey that was just it was good, but not good enough. It was always really good, but not good enough. They would make the playoffs most of the time, and maybe make some hay, but just not enough to get over that hump.
Would you want to go back to those days and trade this away for it because of the incompetence of the last?
I don't know what's worse, teasing me or just letting me know that there's no chance. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like it's like you're going to a bar and you're single and you're trying to pick up a girl. Is it better that she makes you buy her a bunch of drinks and then tell you at the end of the night to hit the bricks, or just tell you shut up, get out of my face, nerd? Like I don't know which one's worse.
Go home and work on these issues and come back. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. That's a very good point. And I know that in the championship or bust mentality of the Matty B world, obviously this is what I mean, it's about championships, but it's also, there is a lot to be said about relevant play. And we're just not relevant. And I mean, before you can be a champion, you got to be relevant, and they're not even relevant. And that's just the sort of indicative of the situation they're in. And I don't know. I'd love to have a crystal ball and find out how this works out and when it works out, and if I'm still alive when it works out. But
sure, that's the scary part. Like, I mean, I remember, like I said, watching the 2017 Eagles win the Super Bowl. I was with my grandfather, and to sit there and wonder, like, even at my age at the time, like, are we ever going to see an Eagles Super Bowl? That's why I think we all got excited and emotional. My grandfather's there, and he was at the time in his late 80s, and still pretty, sound mind and body at this point. So that's why it became an emotional moment for me. It's like same thing. Like, I'm 43 years old, and I still feel like there's no chance in my lifetime and if I live a full lifetime, that I'm going to see a Flyers parade down Broad Street.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there goes that power play.
Yep. Minute and 15 seconds left for there'll be less because it's delayed, but
I don't want overtime.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I know that doesn't play well for. Well, the Flyers' only good goalies were Perrant, Lindbergh, and Hextall. And Ain't
and
whistling
they've been
Dixie
around for 60 years or whatever, 70 years, and that's it. That's three out of all that time. I mean, it's not
well,
good.
Noon State 85 to 87 had some great times. I mean, listen, when I was before I was born in the early 80s and then into the mid 80s, I was too young to really understand, but like history shows you that, I mean, was it 83 that all the teams were in the championship at that point? Or yeah.
Well,
Or
it was
80,
a run between 80 and 83 that they were just Flyers, Philly, or Sixers, not Sixers, but Eagles.
Phillies won 80. The Sixers won 83.
Eagles went to the Super Bowl 80, 81. Phillies won the World Series in 80. You had the Flyers in the finals in 80. They lost to
the Oilers?
Islanders. They lost to the Islanders. Yeah, between 80 and 83 was the heyday. And that's when I was like between 7 and 10 years old. That's when I got burned in. Like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. Yeah, I can catch on to this championship.
Well, I always tell you
year.
those 93 Phillies, man. They hooked me. They hooked me into this lifetime of this. If it wasn't for the 93 Phillies, man, we wouldn't be talking here right now. You know?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you, because I'm like, okay, so that's what it's supposed to be. We go to the finals, conference finals every year. I can sign. Then in 84, it's like, huh? 84 to 93. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, no, it's the heyday was 80 to 83. And out of that, we got 2, which, hey, I guess it's better than none, but.
Well, here's my thing is, and that's why I say, like, my kids, I take my 10-year-old and my 25-year-old, they are living in a lot different time. And I say that's why you're going to see a little bit of a different Philly sports fans over the next 30 to 40 years, because, you had 2 Super Bowls in their lifetime already. They've had Phillies championship runs, but no championship. They haven't had any Sixers or Flyers or anything to get excited about. I'm thankful that we had 08, 17, and 24. At least isn't always about someone else's party anymore. That's just true. I mean, how many times growing up did you have to say, well, he played for the Philly team. I'm excited. Maybe he'll win a championship and I can live vicariously through that.
And that's what incenses me about this current generation of Eagles fans, where they believe that, the sun's always going to shine. It's not. And there's it can be a lot worse, and it's not guaranteed. And it's to walk around with that arrogance of, well, we're the Eagles, we'll be in the playoff, we'll be in the Super Bowl every other year. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. And
anybody in their 30s or above, just take the Phillies. 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, and then dark days ahead, all the way up until what, 21, 22, right? I guess 22 would have been 21. They didn't make the playoffs in 21, so 22.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed, and that's why when you get there, you got to cash in. When you get there, you got to cash it in.
I think that's what happened with the Phillies a lot, that they figured it was guaranteed that they would be in the playoffs every year with the team that they have, and then they could walk their way right in. It was a little hubris.
Yeah.
Mikey P saying I was 5 and 6 years old when the Flyers won the 2 Stanley Cups. Man, God, I would have loved to have been there. I see the pictures all the time. I remember when I first covered the Flyers for the first time, I had to write an article and submit it on a Flyers history thing. And there was a photographer that was this older guy he was been doing sports photography for 107 years or whatever it was. I forget the guy's name. Really great guy. And he covered that parade and shared a lot of his pictures with me. I'm like, God, people hanging out the windows for a team they barely knew.
Mm-hmm.
For a team they barely knew. It was pretty amazing.
I was 1 and 2 when the Flyers won their cups. So I think
that was my wife. My wife was 1. My wife's a little older than me. My wife is she'll be 51 in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I was physically around, but I have no recollection, obviously, of them winning a Stanley Cup.
I remember driving around a 6-year-old with my dad and uncle in Feltonville and down Roosevelt Boulevard, honking the horn and yelling the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, no, that was it. See, I grew up with a family, like I said, in the 90s. Outside of 93, I grew up with a very angry family who's just happy to beat the Dallas Cowboys on any given season. And that's where I got my bitterness from.
All right, overtime, here we come.
Yeah. Overtime hockey. Oh, jeez. Hey boys, keep in check. Hey Mikey, don't worry, I got Matty B in here. I would call him the Matty B squad, but I guess that makes it sound like you're lesser. Real quick, because I'm gonna. Why don't we end it here? Let everybody go watch OT because that's what's happening. We want to pay.
Well, they're going to do an ice cut, so there's going to be about 20-minute break in between regulation and overtime. So
Oh,
they're going to
really?
cut the ice. They're going to cut the ice. Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not know that. I mean,
Yeah, it's like an intermission.
They make everything here. So, all right. Well, then real quick, take 2 minutes. We'll do this rapid fire then, right? Let's see what's here. Nine FCC champion games, 4 NFCC championships, 2 Super Bowls, 10 division titles, third best in the NFL since 2000. Yeah, I'm saying my kid's gonna be like, they're living the dream right now. Could you even imagine we grew up with this, Matt?
Let me counter this though. It's impressive, yes, but what about the other side? What about the fact that this year they had a chance to usher in the Eagles dynasty?
They did.
And they didn't do it. Okay, again, I know we got a lot of these second place trophies
out of the Patriots and the Chiefs, and that's with Tom Brady, and that's with Patrick Mahomes. Anybody else even close to a dynasty? I mean, at all? I mean, it's just
I don't have that mindset. That's not the mindset I'm going off. The mindset is we deserve the dynasty.
Oh, I'm not saying we don't. I'm saying in 26 years, in the last.
Yeah, but you're making excuses for no dynasty. That's what you're doing. No, that's what you're doing.
Hold on, hear me out.
You're rubbing the Homer lamp right now to make an excuse for no dynasty.
No, what I'm saying is, it is in sports, the current sports with the way it is, because making dynasties in the 90s was possible, but it's a whole different layout. I'm saying having dynasties this day and age is 10 times harder. So giving the Patriots and the Chiefs their due, even though you had 2 of the greatest to do it on your team, that makes it that much harder. Like, that's my point is, I'm not saying like be happy that we got close to a dynasty or something, or not be happy about it at all. I'm saying is it's almost an impossibility. You have to have the elite of elite quarterbacks to do so, in my eyes, to do it.
I thought we had that.
What? Oh,
the elite of the elite quarterbacks. I thought that's one of the big arguments that drives this fan base to each other's throats is the argument over the elite quarterback. I get what you're saying.
He's a damn good quarterback.
I don't have the strength to go down Jalen Hurts rabbit hole today. But listen, no, I get what you're saying. But my point is, it was laid out in front of them this year. And I'm not saying it's easy. It ain't easy.
Watching that Super Bowl made me go, man, they could have been in this game.
Oh, yeah.
They would have won the Super Bowl because, listen, the Seahawks, in my eyes, were the Eagles of last year. It's dominating defense.
Yeah.
Good quarterback play, making no mistakes.
He did what he had to do.
Really
yeah.
Good.
And then a solid run game. But yeah, no,
really,
you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But again, we're not going to glaze over the fact that they missed an opportunity for a dynasty, except we're going to sit back on the 9 NFC championships or whatever, the NFC East titles and all that. But that's not what it's about. It's about Lombardies. We have 2. Steelers have 6. Patriots have 6. I mean, the Cowboys still have more. I get it. They haven't won one since I was in my young 20s, but they still have more than the Eagles. Washington. The Giants have more than the Eagles. The Redskins have more than the Eagles. Again, contextually, no. They have 2, and everybody else has got more. I don't care when they've won them. They've still won more, and we had a chance.
Count then? Do you want to go back to the 50s?
Yeah. That wasn't a Super Bowl. It's championships. But the bottom line is we had the chance right in front of us to take what was ours, to give the fan base what they deserved. A valid way to be arrogant and say you're damn right, and you're now living in the Eagles dynasty. And they came up short on all levels, on every single level, from the roster construction to the execution on the field to the coaching. It all missed last year, and they wasted an opportunity.
Let me ask you a question: if they won this coming season,
yes,
this upcoming season, if they win this upcoming season, they win the Super Bowl. Is that not a dynasty? I'm just asking.
There's an argument to be made. There's an argument.
Okay, I just like if you go to the Super Bowl and win, I guess 2 out of 4 years, is that a dynasty? And you went to the Super Bowl 3 of those times?
Yeah, no, that's an argument to be made. But this would have been a no-brainer if they would have won this year. No brainer.
Well, no, it was in front of them.
This is
Shut
the
up.
Eagles dynasty.
Listen, the Niners were not a good team. They were just I don't know if they
terrible.
I don't know if they thought they were going to win this one and they let it get away with them, but it just goes to show you that coaching is very important in the NFL. Just going to throw that out there. The NFL made it harder since 2000. Absolutely. And that's my point, is to build a dynasty nowadays. That's why it's hard for me to count anything before 2000 as like what Pittsburgh had one since 2000, right? They only had the one Super Bowl. Giants had the two Super Bowls. Chiefs, and of course the Chiefs and Patriots had all their Super Bowls. They're all 7 of Tom Brady's were in since 2000. Yeah. So outside of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, that's why he's saying third. So if I said to you, Matty B, in 1999 for the next,
but the Giants have two as well in that time frame.
That's what I said. Except we're the outside the Giants, we had two, they had two, and I think, trying to think, is there anybody else? Seattle this year would have mixed
and
two.
Seattle has two. Yeah, 05.
So I think it's Patriots, Chiefs, and then we're tied. I think at two. I think there's nobody with three that I can think of, right?
No, I don't think there's anybody with three.
Because that's it. So listen, 26 years, 6 of them were from the Patriots. That's 20 years left. The Chiefs had what? 4. Hold on.
Yeah. 4.
So
now
16.
we're all alone in third place in Super Bowl appearances since 2000.
Yes, but again, this is why I ask you. I know it's hindsight looking back, but if I said in 1999 that the Eagles would be for the next 23 years top 3 in overall success in the NFL, would you sign up for that? After what we went through in the before,
depending on what you define as success,
championship success,
Lombardi's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, top 3. If you're telling me that the top 3, in the top 3, and then you don't give the number out, and that number was 2. I mean, in its essence, I would sign up for that. Yes, but obviously, when you look at it now in reality, and they got 2. I mean, that's great. That's the first 2 we've ever won, and absolutely, but.
If I said just in the next,
just like we're talking
years,
here,
if I said we're talking 26 years, the Eagles will be 4 chances to win a Lombardi. They will be in 4 Super Bowls.
But you're not going to give me the outcome.
I'm not telling you how many you win. It could be the Buffalo Bills for you.
Man, that's you have to be careful what you wish for there. I don't know if I could go 0-4. That would be terrible. No, you're right. That's a great point, but. Mikey, I get it. You got to get in there. But as I said, you got to. Look, 2 Super Bowls is great, and the proximity of the wins within the last 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah, it's awesome. But you left meat on the bone. You left meat on the bone in Super Bowl. What was the one they lost? 57. They lost that one, right? They lost 57.
Yeah.
All right. You left meat on the bone in 57. You left meat on the bone in 39. You know what I mean? You left meat on the bone, and there's no guarantee that you're going to go back every year and do this as we saw this year. There's no guarantee, no matter how much we want to will it into like being. There's no guarantee. You got to take advantage of, just like we're about to hopefully take advantage of an opportunity to win a gold medal here coming into the next period. But you can't worry about tomorrow when you're in these moments. And I'm not saying that's what they were doing, but I just don't think going into the season, Howie's plan was good. His free agent plan was terrible. He got 0 contributions from the class of 2025 in the draft, nothing from those players, which really cost them in the depth issue. And then push a factor in the injuries. There was nobody to supplant them. It was just a bad plan. And then you had the issues with Patullo and Sirianni and allegedly Stoutland. It was just it just wasn't what I expected the defending Super Bowl champions to come out of the gate and
that goes to back my problem where I said it was hubris a little bit. They won that championship and they said, well, we can let a guy try his first time around with the OC. Yeah. We have a great offense.
Even though it didn't work just 2 years ago. We did that and it didn't work.
Don't ask me why. But I'm going to push back on this one, Mikey, and I'm going to ask you why. And let me ask you the same question, Matt. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl next season, say goodbye to OC Mannion, and we're still stuck with buffoon, is that a problem? I'm okay with that.
No, it's not. It is a problem.
I'm okay with that.
Because if we win the Super Bowl next year, you're looking at. I could stand on that sideline and be the head coach because I'm not involved in anything. Hey, Sean Mannion, you run the offense. Vic, you run the defense. I'm going to sit here and yell at the fans. And then I'm going to get all the praise when we win. And then when I get the heat when we lose, I'll deflect it. I'll deflect it off and come up with some kitschy catchphrases and parables and stuff. No, of course it's a problem because he is like, I like to look at Sirianni as the world's greatest welfare recipient right now. He ain't doing nothing, yet he's getting all this reward when they win. His contributions to this football team are minimum and at some points costly to the team. Of course it's a problem. It's a sick cycle. It's an absolute sick cycle if we keep winning and this guy keeps his job. This guy, again, Al, I would have more confidence looking up and seeing friggin' Phil Stifle standing in the middle of the sideline than I do looking at Nick Sirianni. No offense to Phil, wherever you are in the world. I would have more confidence in that than seeing Sirianni. Of course it's a problem, Al.
But you're not answering my question. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl next year and Mannion's gone, is that a problem that you can deal with? Because you have always said it. What is the ultimate goal here?
Yeah, winning championships.
Then what is the problem? Everybody's upset.
We can go back and win in 27?
What did everybody say? We need Vic Fangio.
Are we going to go back and win in 27? Hey, is this thing on? Are we going to go back and win in 27 with Nick Sirianni calling the shots? Well, we sure as hell didn't do it last year. All right.
Well, listen, maybe the OC coordinator becomes sexy again because we won another championship. I don't know. But my point is, the whole point is to win championships. And if I said to you, again, if I go back in time and said, hey, Matty B, the Eagles have really good success and in 4 years go to 3 Super Bowls and win 2 of them. But the problem is everybody had is our coach is still our coach the next year. You'd be sitting there going, what? Like, that's what you would say. That's what you would tell me. You'd be like,
but I don't have that. I have my eyes. I can see this though.
No,
but this is not one of those situations. This is not Middle Earth. I'm not trying to go to Mount Doom. All right. I already see this. Okay. I already know what this is. All right. Listen, Al, are you making excuses for Nick Sirianni? Are you actually going to sit here and make an excuse for Nick Sirianni?
I'm telling you, I don't care if Sean Mannion or any coach, OC, HC, whatever, is one and done if we're winning championships. This thing of, we need the Vic Fangio of the offensive coaching so he's here for a while so we can have success is the biggest line of BS in my life because I want championships. I don't care if it's one and done and that's how it gets done. If that's how it gets done, then so be it. That is the landscape of the NFL. If you're an OC, your job is to become an HC one day. And if it's going to lead you to championship to HC and we're the recipients of the championship, I'll sign up for it every year. That's my point.
So you're willing to roll the dice every year and hopefully they get the next best thing every year. Every year we get the next best thing.
Every other year we get a Super Bowl. I'll take it. If you're telling
me the San Francisco Giants of the NFL, are we the new Giants of the NFL? Are we going to win every even year? Is that
Matty B?
Or odd year, whatever.
If the football gods came down and said we're going to let the Eagles win 4 of the next 8 Super Bowls, I think you'd sign up for it.
Yeah, but we're not doing this. This is not Fantasia. All right, I get what you're saying, but we're living in the moment now. We're living in the moment absolutely right now.
In the last 4 years, they've been to the Super Bowl twice, and they won 1. Right? Am I wrong?
Okay, and who? All right, okay. Let's reel it in. If you're looking at the team as a whole, and you're looking at the head coach, who is the face of the team, right? Somebody said this a while back. It was almost as if Saquon Barkley and the defense were driving the bus, and everybody else was sitting on it, to include your head coach with his pom-poms. So we've seen with Nick Sirianni, when he puts his hand into this team, what can happen, right? He demoted Stoutland. Apparently, just
lost me. I'm off the Nick Sirianni train because of that alone, right there.
He changed the locks to the room, and he couldn't get in or something. Didn't even have the balls to tell him. Apparently, just Hey, Jeff, don't come in today, man. Take an extra day off. You deserve it. And then they're going to recreate the run game around all
13 years of success. We don't need you.
Yeah, Jeff, just take the day off, man. Just reconnect with your family for a sec. But listen, we've seen when Nick Sirianni mixes the pot himself, what we come up with, right? And it's not sustained. It's not consistent. Again, dynasty. That's why there'll never be a dynasty, because of that revolving door when it comes to these assistant coaches when we finally get one that hit. What is going to happen? So next year, you guys mentioned the Sean Mannion effect. If what happens next year, not 26, but 2027 is going to be a very interesting football season. No Vic Fangio, no Lane Johnson, potentially no Sean Mannion. What is it? Then you're going to have, Laughing Boy on the sidelines, and what's he going to all of a sudden morph into Vince Lombardi and run it all himself? So again, we're constantly rolling the dice. Is that what a dynasty team does? Or does a dynasty team have a strong structure, a strong leader in the front, and says, you know what? I'm the head coach, blah, blah, blah. I got it. You're the next greatest thing. But if you fail, I can step in at any moment and at least hold down the fort until something else happens. We don't have that in him. He's a goddamn caricature. He's not even a real person. I don't even think he's a real person, honestly. I think he's like an AI simulation by some camera that shoots down.
He's Howie Roseman's robot.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's a cyborg from the future sent to kill John Connor. I don't know, but he's not a real person, man. All right, and I have no faith or confidence in him.
I don't think anybody. I don't care if you're the biggest Nick Sirianni apologist or you hate him the most. I don't think, and I'll go into this question right here, and I'll tell you why. If they announce today that Nick Sirianni's out as head coach, I don't think anybody sheds a tear except for Nick Sirianni, right? I think everybody's okay with if he goes or he stays.
Oh, really though? Are you okay?
Yeah. If it announced right now, boom, Twitter, boom, Nick Sirianni is out as head coach, I would want to know why. Like, of course, what made him change it? But if I'm not losing sleep over it at all. Now, Mikey P is asking me the question, hey, Al, would you have fired Nick Sirianni and hired Harbaugh when he became available before he signed with the Giants? My answer is no, and it's not because of what you think it is, because I think John Harbaugh is extremely overrated. He's had enough talent around him to win more Super Bowls and be more successful, and he has not been, and he's living off past experiences. It's not anything against Nick Sirianni or not. It's John Harbaugh is overrated. End of story on that question. But, all right, guys, they are starting overtime. So before we get any further, because me and him will not stop, it will just keep going.
By the way, 18-minute periods, sudden death with 20-minute periods, sudden death with an 18-minute intermission in between the overtimes. We go until somebody wins 3v3.
All right, guys. Maddie, thank you for joining me on this Sunday morning. Hopefully Mikey's safe out there. Everything, you guys stay safe. Don't hurt yourself shoveling. Get some young guys to do it for you. Other than that, go enjoy hopefully some gold medal hockey.
Let's
go. Talk to you guys
soon.
Bye.